Yes, we are very expensive learners. I understand the cost of humanity. At the cost of humanity, if we learn these lessons, then conflict is going to be very expensive. I totally agree. But coming back to that macro question, if the family is a unit of the society, then what changes do we need to do in the family to see that at least we are at peace in the family?
Very beautiful. And I'm in fact, Chinmaya Mission, or you take any spiritual organization, we say that family is a unit. Very beautiful thing. In fact, so family is a unit. Now, see, I always speak to the youth in our in the youth camps and all that. I always say family values. That if the family as a joint members of the family together, if they don't have any values to uphold as a family, not as an individual value, then that family cannot stay united. Therefore, the family we should teach the families why we should have family values and what do you mean by staying together and living together. This has to be educated. Perhaps family workshops. Sometimes we conduct family workshops also, the where whole family will be involved. We make them discuss and all that. So we have done in some places in India. So the family unity, family responsibility, family goals, and family's importance in society has to be taught to the family together. This has to be done. So once this is done, family unity, and at least 2 3 healthy practices, like at least one meal they should be together, either breakfast or dinner. Lunch, of course, they'll be going out. Dinner party, for example, dinner every day at any cost. We will meet together on dining table. I heard a beautiful like a story, this a created story when Wi-Fi was there. So everybody is busy with their own mobile phones and smartphones. I mean the iTabs, etc., etc., tablets. Then the wife was mother of the house was fed up, and she just quietly put off the Wi-Fi, disconnected. Somewhere she cut the tar, and immediately Wi-Fi is not there. Nobody is getting signal. So everybody one by one, don't know what to do. They all sat in the dining table and started chit chatting. That means what? Useless Wi-Fi, because it is disconnecting, not only integrating. Sometimes it is disconnecting the family. When the mother put it off, they don't know whom to talk. All of them gathered on dining table and started beautifully chatting. Then mother revealed in the end, I only disconnected so that I want this kind of family at least once in a day, about half an hour or 45 minutes. We should be together, share, and that is not there today. In fact, pandemic, Jawaharji, pandemic in quarantine, sorry, not in quarantine, in pandemic lockdown period, families are really, there are two things. Some families are learning to stay together, learning each one. And I always say that I address many companies during this period. This is a golden opportunity to understand husband, wife, children, family members, to live together, to sort out all the differences between them, and then uphold some value, live for some kind of a purpose. This is a golden time.
Yes.
Lockdown was a period to learn actually.
Sir, one more thing in this.
Yeah.
Again, the same research that I was quoting last time.
Yes, yes.
One good thing that has happened, especially in the Indian subcontinent, is as parents, we do not share our financial woes with our children. So what has happened now is we talk behind them, okay, and then the child comes up and says, I want mobile, I want motorcycle. Then we take a loan also and give it to them without sharing that I can't afford it. Now with the pandemic, if we are in a lockdown situation, the parents are talking inside and the children are hearing, they are becoming more responsible. In case the family is a family which gels together, meets together, eats together, they are understanding that my parents are in trouble, we should not make undue demands. So one good thing that this pandemic has done is brought families together, albeit forcibly. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. It is like the Wi-Fi being put off and you gathering at the dining table. The virus is there outside, so I am in the house forcibly. But it has done something good for us.
No, Jawaharji, my house, when I was a kid, my mother used to share the entire expenses. My father died long back. So my mother used to share that this is the monthly income I got. Government employee she was. This is the expenditure. Sometimes she would ask us suggestions how to manage the house.
Excellent.
Naturally, sense of responsibility and sacrifice
Yes.
comes.
Very, very coincidental. Like we have four people in our family, husband, wife, and two children. So what we used to do, my wife used to complain, ki 200 rupees I give for biscuits, and the younger one is so fond of biscuits. One week he finishes off the 200, and you say you go and preach across the world that this is how you have to do. This is you tell our children what to do. So then I took him to Big Bazaar, the whole family, and said, see, your expenditure of biscuits is 200 rupees. And now choose biscuits so that it has to last a month. Accountability is yours. How to choose biscuits is also yours. You can choose. First month he chose Bourbon biscuits. He used to like chocolate. The quantity is less, they are expensive. So he finished off in 10 days, and then 20 days he kept quiet because he was the one who was responsible. Next month, he divided the budget into two parts. First is quality or taste, and second is quantity. So he distributed it. So it is our duty to make our children responsible and think about everyone, not just us and the whole family. So our ministry system that we work on, my son becomes a tourism minister, let's say, and we plan a 6-month tour. Every 6 months we are out. One state we tour every 6 months. Then we give him a budget and says, now plan it. So he plans according to that budget, and then he also has to factor, mommy has to go and see the temple. Dad has to go and see a literary place. You have to go and see a historical place. The younger boy has to go and see a forest. So we'll have to figure out the tour in such a way that everybody's interest is taken care of. So I think it is up to us to see that our families grow in a way we want them to grow.
But again, Jawharji, I just tell you one thing again. All this needs a sensitive heart and education.
I totally agree.
These two are missing in society today. Sensitive heart is born out of education. We don't create sensitivity. We only create competition in society, and we place one versus many. And we tell them, all of them you should kill, you should trample upon them, destroy them. You come out and show your ugly face of success to the world around. That's not success, no?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, while we are teaching you to be successful, I want to teach somebody to be successful. But while the teaching is going on, I am planting him hatred, anger, dissatisfaction, resentment, and then competition, and then you can't bear anybody. You should see that everybody should be destroyed. I mean, these kind of thoughts are automatically generated.
Yes.
So I think our approach should be changed.
Okay. So let's look back again 25 years, 95 to 2020.
Yeah.
In the past 25 years, what are the things that have improved? 3 things that have improved.
One is health has improved.
Okay.
Second is technology became handy.
Okay.
And third thing is education has become easily accessible for the people.
Okay. And what are the 3 things that have deteriorated?
Lack of cooperation between the countries. Number 1. Poverty has increased.
Okay.
We are not able to address that poverty. And the environment is badly affected.
Okay. Great. And now let's say 2020 to 2045. So next 25 years, what are the 3 things that you see are going to improve?
I already told you, science and technology is going to improve, no doubt about it. And I also see the medical facilities are likely to improve. But the third thing is that health also will be likely to improve. I told you health about it.
Yes.
Education also will improve.
Okay. And what will go down?
What will go down is I'm a very this one. If we don't take steps properly, if the same trend continues,
okay,
environmental hazards.
Okay.
We will have to face a lot of things. Then depletion of natural resources, such as water intake and everything. Second thing is that may go down. And human sensitivities, like competition, sense of belongingness may be lost further in case if we don't address those issues now.
Okay. With this perspective of six things of the past and six things of the future, how do you see the current crop of youth taking the world forward vis-a-vis our generation?
See, first, you have been working with the youth, and I
Yeah.
also been working with the youth. Today, they are more confused. In fact, confused because, especially during COVID pandemic, you take, there is no direction for the youth today. If there is somebody who can give them direction, it's a great blessing. Direction in terms of total human development, which includes physical health, psychological, mental health, as the definition of WHO says, spiritual, social, security, everything. All the health in all dimensions should increase. So they need direction today and some kind of assurance that you will be able to eke out your livelihood. There is no problem, that kind of assurance. We will not, nations, governments should ensure their own citizens and society, the youth, that we will not let you starve. Because in spite of, I was telling another, in our country, you take India, in spite of 130 crore population, today, of course, there are some, but there are no major starvation deaths in the country. Is it not a blessing? There are starvation deaths because of greed of some sections of people, because of lack of public distribution system in some areas, or lack of some kind of politics, local politics. Some people may be affected. But as such, the food surplus is always there in the country. Is it not a blessing?
Yes, it is.
So I think this assurance we should give to the youth. Don't worry. And one more thing, very important, that we should live as a family, as a together. So, like, everybody want to be independent. Everything is extra. You use more chairs, more furniture, and more of the things required to handle more electricity, more power, everything. But the concept of joint family, living in togetherness. If a family is able to live together, their economy is under their control, they can mutually live happily. They should learn how to live together. If everybody wants to live independently, and so everybody wants every set of everything separately, then that is going to create its own problem in the case of resources.
So these young boys that I have worked with, sir, I am very bullish on them.
Hmm.
They are fantastic. I mean, they are not as materialistic as we are. In especially these young techies who have come up, they want to spend money on their enrichment. So they don't want. My parents would tell me, or my grandparents would tell me, "Ka kha ga gana," they would say. What is ka? Pehle kamao, earn. First earn, then khao, that is eat. This is the process of life, they would say. Then gadi, you buy a vehicle after you've had enough to eat. Then they would say ghar is a house. So first earn, then eat enough, then buy a vehicle, then buy a home, and then you look at relations. This is how we were told earlier, that this is the process in which life goes. These boys and girls I have seen in major cities, they don't buy houses. They say that it affects our mobilities. So everything is rented, including the furniture that you said is in surplus in our homes. They are not looking at that. No material aspects. Everything is rented. They move out of that place like saints, ascetics, nomads, go out to another place, and they spend that money on countries, on seeing countries of different cultures, etc. I am very bullish on these boys and girls. I'll give you an example. One class sixth boy, I had visited one school, and he came and he listened to my lecture, then came out. He said, I have seen your lecture, fantastic. I want to ask you one question. I said, ask. He said, who is God? I opened my mouth. Hmm. He said, no, I don't want a definition from you. He said, please allow different boys and girls of our class to sit together and discuss the concept of God. I want to know the other concepts that people have, not your or my concept. So these people want to know more. They want not to be very keen on the definition or rote learning part of education. They want to understand things. So to that extent, I am seeing a very bright future for these boys and girls. Yes, what you said is right. They need people to guide them. If you don't guide them, they will go haywire. They might go haywire. They are also more concerned about the environment than we were. So they are socially more responsible. They donate things more than our generation used to do. We were more selfish, probably. So I think what we are doing is now that suppose if we take one area, let's say healthcare. In healthcare, what are the three big things that you see happening in future?
In healthcare,
So maybe this vaccine.
like well, of course, vaccine, of course,
Right.
COVID vaccine might come, and definitely it should come. And three, healthcare is the general awareness about the health
Okay.
is increasing in society,
Okay.
and knowledge about the medication, first aid medication you take or medicines you take, that also is increasing in society, and most of the people are able to treat themselves with small diseases for small diseases, by taking medicines and all. In healthcare, definitely there is going to be a revamp of medical approach to certain diseases, approach to certain treatments is going to change, and alternative medicines also are coming up in society, in the country. Like for example, Ayurveda is increasing, and so there's so much of respect towards Ayurveda is increasing now in the country, that we have seen in the world also. So yoga, for example. So more prevention type also medicines will
Yes.
grow. More rather than treating the diseases, how to prevent. This consciousness and awareness is definitely there in the today's youth. They are, for fitness, they are spending a lot of time.
Yes.
Maximum youth.
Okay. So let's take the UN now. 75 years of UN. What is it that you feel that UN still needs to do in future?
See, very our UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, has said regarding this year. I'm talking 75th year. He was giving a talk, so he said that fair globalization. Their goals I'm talking, and bold climate action, human rights and gender equality, no hatred of any kind, and peace while bringing life-saving aid to millions caught up in armed conflicts, more agile and accountable in support to countries. This is how he framed for 75 years this
Okay.
one. But one thing is, I tell you one thing, that how to achieve all this is a big question. Today, I tell you, one psychology is also there, individual level, and nobody wants to listen to anybody, because I'm a holier than thou attitude. So I suggest one thing that to follow, that to achieve all these things, we should have a discussion. What is one common thread which can bring gender equality, no hatredness, life-saving aid to millions caught up in armed conflicts, as you mentioned about Naxalites, and then children in the child was taking orientation towards that Naxalite, and fair globalization, climate action. Are you able to figure out one common thing which is required to address all these things?
Right.
One route, if you can take care of it, educating the human being and reminding him the life is so precious that he has to grow and further evolve, and he is not separate entity. He is a part of the beautiful total earth system, and other beings, spiritually I'm talking about it, that every being is like me. Like I am hurt, I feel sorrow. If I'm hurt, feel terribly bad. Similarly, everybody, that kind of understanding, sensitivity is. Therefore, I just suggest, I was just thinking, some thoughts are there. Can we have a global uniform education? At least one subject, as I mentioned some time back also.
Yeah.
A global uniform education, that every human being, whoever takes birth on this planet, must be empowered with the following things. He must be trained. He must be molded right from childhood. Say first LKG or nursery. Unless this takes place at the global level, I don't think we can achieve, because all the goals of UN is linked to education, human sensitivity, love, kindness, compassion, with the spiritual values. I'm not talking of any other thing, spirituality. And spirituality is the only science in the world which tells you how to handle yourself and how to handle society and people around you if they are not in proper order. How do you face challenges in life? I think spiritual education, and I just tell you one thing. Uh, Vivekananda said, renunciation and service must be the national ideals. So renunciation means not wearing this awkward clothes roaming around. No, no, no. Renunciation of greed and service must be the global ideals today if UN has to achieve something. This has to be driven deeply into every citizen of the planet, that you must renounce the greed, live and let live, and be available. So career definition, I think Jawahar, you must have heard or not, I don't know. I changed there's no definition for career. So one funny definition of the career means what? How to make myself happy at the cost of others. That's called career.
Okay.
That's what people understand. But I changed it. I said, I don't want this kind of psychological understanding. Career means what? You choose in a particular means. It is a means to serve society and the country. You are born, so my career is means what? My means of service to the organization, to the globe, to the humanity. As a carpenter, as a plumber, as a doctor, a chartered accountant, as anybody XYZ. So this is my way. So career definition is what? Not to make money, not to make myself, as you mentioned some time back, my life, my only thing. No. How I can contribute to society. So in what way you become asset to society? That is called definition of career. So I'll ask one question. Instead of asking what is your career, I say I would ask one question. In what way you would like to become an asset to society, country, and the world? Beautiful question, no?
Yes.
This is the career definition. So make them service oriented. Service oriented, not that you starve. No, I am available for service. You are what? You are doing your service. So this kind of attitude has to be drilled throughout the length and breadth of the planet. And we are one. In fact, there's a beautiful Carl Sagan, as I saw a beautiful video when the spaceship is leaving the solar system, he asked them to turn the cameras towards the Earth. And Earth becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. And he gave beautiful write-up on that. He gave a commentary on that particular thing happening. The Earth is like a cosmic dust particle from a distant, small dust particle it is. And we come closer, so much of conflict, so much of hatred, so much of uneasiness, so much of differences. Can't we live a small, beautiful dot, a blue planet, lovely to look in space, suspended? Can we have that kind of approach towards it? We should give it imagination. No imagination. Pictures are available now for the children to look at the planet. Look at it. Protect the planet. Protect the animals. Protect the trees. Protect the environment. Protect humanity. So this education has, not that I am superior to you, religious-wise superiority, education-wise I am superior. This kind of things can be eradicated if you give proper education. I think all the UN goals, what is pointed out by General Secretary of UN in this, Mr. Antonio, in the speech about the 75th year, common thread is what? Education. There is no other way.
Okay. So for a beginning, since from what you have said, I want to end by saying that maybe what you have said makes a lot of sense, because spiritual education can be the common thread, or education can be the common thread. But for this wide world to be able to implement such a huge thing, I would suggest that we from the UN would take up this and start working in the 10 most conflict areas in the world, out of which our Kashmir is also one. So Afghanistan is one. There are 10 areas. Yemen is one. So if we could start working on these areas in at least focused on those conflict zones, maybe that's a good beginning, and then we can widen the horizons.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes,
So, thank you very much, Swamiji, for the fantastic conversation. Yes, you wanted to say.
One more thing. In these conflict areas, first give them assurance. Youth has to be assured and implement it. Don't simple false promises.
That's right.
Assurance that you will be happy. We will take care of your food, clothing, shelter, health, security, and also education. We will take care. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So that assurance will give them the satisfaction to start on anything and rebuild themselves.
Then they will be open to listen to you, to learn.
So, namaskar again, and thank you very much for the kind thoughts that you have spared on the piece of future. And we are again embarking on this journey, beginning with you. We have a lot of eminent people who are joining this panel every day. I know that we have exceeded our time limit, but it was a pleasure talking to you, and it flew as time flew like we didn't know.
Yes, that is true.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Jawharji, and thanks for the opportunity. You made me think along with UN lines.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.